With the constant development of new and interesting ways of interfacing with your game machines, some things once considered the height of novelty are quickly becoming standard or perhaps even passé. My wireless NES controllers felt like a little piece of magic, my Wavebird felt like the optimal form for a GameCube input device, and now I become frustrated when my batteries run low and I actually have to plug in my 360 or PS3 sticks. So how lucky did it seem when a new version of the Dreamcast cult classic Samba de Amigo would be heading to the Wii, where the existing control scheme would remove the necessity for costly, tough-to-find maraca controllers. Exactly. That first Dreamcast version, which hit the US in 2000, consisted of a sensor placed on the floor and 2 maracas. Since the game recognizes 6 positions, 2 high, 2 middle, and 2 low, it's just a matter of reading how far from the floor the maraca is being shaken. However, as a calibration method, the game would prompt the user for their height. Kinda strange, but hey, it worked. The Wii version, though, simply uses the angle of the Wiimote and nunchuck to determine the angle at which the player's wrist is bent, and thus the height at which the sensor is being held. It's a cute little bit of deduction, except that the very act of shaking the device introduces imprecision into said angle readings. The net result is that if you're just going through the normal difficulty, it's all fine and dandy for the most part. But enter the terrain of the hard or super hard settings, and you might end up putting your controller through the screen. It might even be intentional. Far be it from me to question why Sonic is jamming out to Lowrider, since he seems to have a much higher center of gravity ever since his Dreamcast-era redesign, but mine is no place to ask. In any event, while the imprecision might not matter to Joe Casual just throwing down some Livin' La Vida Loca for irony's sake, just ask the crew at your local Dance Dance Revolution machine how much an unresponsive arrow can upset their mood. The whole point of rhythm gaming is precision and accuracy to within mere shavings of a beat, and nothing feels worse than knowing you got it right but not having it reflected in the game itself. Fortunately, there's also a tutorial function so you can learn exactly which way to turn your wrist so the Wii thinks it's on the opposite side of your body and other teeth-gritting frustrations. But perseverance pays off mostly in the form of unlocked songs and unlocked sound effects for your maracas. And if that's not enough, and it probably isn't, you can go online and download even more songs, this strange and unusual quirk for the Wii. DDR players will recognize Samba de Janeiro and El Ritmo Tropical, Donkey Konga players will recognize La Bamba and Oye Como Va, and everyone will recognize the Ricky Martin, Lou Bega, and Carlos Santana tracks that round out the roster. My only real puzzlement, though, was the inclusion of Real Big Fish's ska cover of a-ha's Take On Me. You'd think, though, that after the teddy bears and musician suits, dancing butterfly woman, and a freaky-looking monkey, not to mention my own bewildered appearance as a backing musician, I'd stop asking questions.